So I want to ask a question. Are you 100% confident about what you're going to be able to produce and the profit that you're going to be able to bring in to your operation in 2025? There's a lot of uncertainty with the market right now, but I'm going to give you a silver lining to what's going on. The guys that are prepared and proactive rather than reactive are going to have an opportunity to expand their operations and see a margin of success that they haven't experienced before. If you want to be one of those guys that are prepared, you need to be watching this video right now. Hello, I'm Lance Weaver. I've spent a career in agricultural banking. Before that, I was doing a lot of work in agricultural economics. I did my master's in ag econ at Oklahoma State. Go Pokes. And then also I spent some time down in Washington, D.C. getting firsthand experience to the Farm Bill. Today, we're going to talk about the current state of the ag market, and we're going to really dive into some things that you really need to know in 2025. At the beginning of April, President Trump put a 125% tariff on China. What's going on? You got to realize that China is a huge consumer base. They're also a huge production center as well. The Chinese have a very different governmental system than we do over here. And because of that, information doesn't free slowly from China to the US and the rest of the world. There's been a lot of trade distortion based on what their government's been willing to release. I think a lot of producers actually understand that. We've seen it growing up in the cotton market. We really see that over there where most of the actual refiners of cotton, the manufacturers of cotton are in China. They really play the game for us. So what was going on with tariffs right now is we are working very hard to level the playing field. Now, whether you agree with the approach or not, that's really kind of secondary to the fact that we're at least making an attempt to force the Chinese government in particular to come to the table and build a better plan for us going forward. So this tariff and trade policy that's going on, my background's in economics, and so I kind of enjoy what we're doing here. Guys, I'm going to say, hunker down. Let's buy into the plan here, because long term, I do believe that this is going to pay off for us. In the short term, we have to be good planners. Plan. Starts with a good set of projections, and it comes with measuring your actuals relative to those projections. We need to be proactively marketing our crop. We need to be proactively managing our costs. I always stress, be proactive rather than reactive. That is going to be the people that are in business beyond 2025, the people that understand and really sink in that particular concept to their operations. A lot of farmers are worried about inflation right now. Interest rates are a real concern in 2025. We've seen a huge run up over the last several years, and it's become an issue for farms. Several farms will borrow a lot of their money. This all starts with getting a good plan. Projections are extremely important. A lot of my producers really hem and haw, and they don't understand why we're doing projections. Projections are wrong exactly 100% of the time, but they're still extremely important when you're trying to build a plan for success in the coming year. The way we really use projections is by understanding where we're going and understanding how to be profitable in the next year. We need to measure our success, understand our input costs, and then obviously dealing with interest rates, understanding the cost of borrowing that money. The only way to do that is through a sound plan and understanding how we're going to get there. Your projections are going to be your roadmap to the future. Or we're talking about key indicators for 2025. Something we have to be extremely mindful of is market prices. We always want to focus on cost this, cost that. We can do our best to control costs, but we also have to understand how to control our revenue streams as well. If we're projecting a certain amount of revenue, how are we going to stabilize that revenue? Ensure to our farm that revenue is going to come in. It comes with a marketing plan. You have to understand where you're going to sell these products and have some level of expectation for the prices that you are going to receive for those products as well. So currently there's talks of a recession, and I know a lot of farmers are very concerned about that. From the business side of things, I think everybody needs to kind of understand and put things in perspective. A recession doesn't always spell doom to the agricultural sector. Now, they'll discount the fact from a consumer standpoint, that means, things are going to get a lot tougher. We need to really dive into projections, understand costs, and be constantly reviewing those costs to make sure we're still within the plan. If we're out of the plan, make adjustments and make sure that you're lined up for success. Now, on the other side of things, I would really push you to to make sure you understand your household expenses. Household expenses are going to change dramatically. If the cost of food goes up, the cost of everything goes up. That'll spell success for the farm in some ways, and then it'll spell a more pressured situation at home. Guys, understand your expenses, understand that market, and then really dial in to what's important to you long term. Not everybody's going to be a good planner through here. The guys that are proactive rather than reactive are going to set themselves up for success. The guys that aren't may not be in business beyond 2025. Guys, that's the biggest opportunity that we've ever had. What does that mean? There may be more land free up. There may be some cheaper cattle assets that can be bought. These are things that people need to be thinking about long term. We really push having a 3, 5, and 10-year plan here. A lot of that revolves around succession planning. This is our opportunity. A lot of times when people are thinking that the market's down and that we're headed for doom, usually there's somebody out there that's thinking completely different. If you listen to kind of how Warren Buffett approaches the market, Warren Buffett goes out there and he constantly watches the market and waits for those opportunities whenever the market turns sour on a certain asset, buys it at pennies on the dollar. Guys, we need to be making that particular mindset a part of our everyday life when we're managing our big operations in agriculture. The common mistakes that I see out of producers, especially in a market like this, we've had this huge run up in cattle. And then there's this state of nirvana, like nothing's ever going to be bad again. And we're going to just keep riding this wave up. The same thing when markets are going down. Everybody just keeps on hoping that things are going to change. They're listening to poor sources of information. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, your neighbor is not an economist. Do not listen to them when it comes to market information. You need to be managing that revenue side of your business. And in times of huge market fluctuations, I see producers completely ignore this. Guys, this is whenever we really needed to dive in and really employ the strategies of these seasoned marketers, and also understanding projections and understanding your costs so that we can ensure success in the long run. Stop hitting for home runs and stop running your business out of fear. Run your business out of confidence and clarity. And the only way you can do that is by knowing your numbers. If you want to know more about the things to come and be prepared for the opportunities that are coming along with it, please click the link below to become part of the Legacy Farmer community.